Yes.
To place some violence in the. Yeah, appreciate it.
That's why I have to make it stay.
Yeah, we got an house.
Carry the purchase meetings.
Yeah.
Page that. Strings.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, Elsa, ready to go?
Good evening, my name is Elsa Rubin, Chair of the Westchester Rent Alliance Board. This is our first public meeting to discuss and schedule days, times, and locations for the 2026 public hearings and meetings to determine guidelines, rates for leases commencing or being renewed between October 1st, 2026 and September 30th, 2026. I will now take roll call. Please wish to be present. Tamara.
Paid and the truck is overflowing, then whatever's after.
Evelyn, we're getting a lot of feedback, so I guess it makes most sense, unless you're speaking, to keep yourself muted for the meeting, please.
Will do. Okay. And also I have my signal is going in and out, so I'm going to turn off my camera just so I can stay on the meeting. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Kenneth Finger,
Yeah.
Robert Whittle,
Here.
and Natalie Pencilton. Here. Let the record show that we have quorum. And now I will ask Peter, our council, Peter Stecker, if he has any announcements or opening statement to make.
Good evening, Chair. Thank you. So I guess the only announcement really that I have is that I have reached out to the Westchester County Board of Legislators about our 2 vacancies. There is a new individual as of earlier this month who's in charge of the appointments, and they're aware that we're still waiting for the appointments. We're hoping we'll get them by sometime in May, so that they can be appointed by the time the meetings start in June, but it's always a little bit difficult, the timing, because it has to go through the Board of Legislators Appointments Committee, then through the full board, then it comes to us. We interview the candidate, and then they're appointed by our commissioner if they meet the requirements. So hopefully they'll be appointed by the time we meet in June, but time will tell.
Also, I failed to mention, let the record show that, Sylvia Hammer is not present today, and she's excused. And also Evelyn Santiago is, joining us, via, remotely. So that said, we can continue, we can start setting up the schedules. And Peter, do you have any dates or any locations for us, right?
I have lots of dates and lots of locations. So I have heard from most of the municipalities. Thankfully, a lot of them got back to me. Just to refresh of what this board did last year, there were 3 public hearings, Yonkers, New Rochelle, and Mount Vernon. There was the research meeting, presentation meeting in Mount Vernon, and the vote meeting here in this room in White Plains. So I guess it probably makes most sense for the board to figure out how many meetings they want to hold this year. Again, there is no set minimum number that needs to be held, so long as you're gathering the evidence that's needed by the ETPA prior to making your findings. Last year was 3 public hearings, and then there was presentation and vote. There's also going to be the research meeting, which will be taking place most likely in this room as well. So I do have dates again from Mount Vernon, Yonkers, New Rochelle, and White Plains. I guess, Chair, maybe it makes the most sense to discuss first how many meetings the board wants to hold.
I would say, let's do what we did last year. Does anybody agree?
Yes.
What about you, gentlemen?
Could the amount of meetings that we had last year? Well, hopefully it won't be here. I'm okay with it. I do think though, that we don't need both the presentation and the vote. I think we can, I still think we can do those on the same night.
Is that what we did last year?
No.
No, we did, they were about a week in between, I think.
However, the presentation, the lecture was simulate what everybody said and we review the papers, go through all the documents. And it takes time, you can't do it immediately.
That's what I thought, I'll go with it.
Peter, if I have a scheduling conflict at the end of June, should I bring it up now?
Yes.
Okay, I have a wedding in California that came up, obviously, after my service last year. It's my only living cousin who lives in California. His daughter's getting married on Thursday, the 26th.
Okay,
So we're gonna,
The 21,
so how many days does that knock you out of?
Thursday and Friday.
Okay,
25th and 26th.
Yeah, I mean, I can be back on Sunday, but you know the way that things are going right now. I'd hate to say I'll be back on for a one-day meeting, but you know, the airlines are just,
All right, let me start off, let's start off, I guess. So we're gonna have 3 meetings, a presentation, and a vote. So we'll have a total of 5 meetings. Is that correct?
We still have the stats meeting.
And we have the staff meeting.
Yes.
Why don't we set the staff meeting first?
Well, Peter,
It depends on
I
what,
know that you said that the stats, guy said that they couldn't meet before the 2nd and the 4th, but I know that they're usually not trying to meet that early in the month, so. Did they have some days that they suggested that they would, that were good for them?
I think the earliest the better.
well, since I've been. Oh. Evelyn, if you unmute yourself, we're able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, no, I had sent an email that the only days that I would not be able to attend would be the last Monday of the month, which I guess would be 20 yeah, and the first Monday of the month, which I don't think we'll touch anyway.
So those are out.
Thank you.
All right,
I mean, if you want to start. The meetings with the research, seems like the earliest that can be done is June 2nd.
June 2nd.
June 2nd,
All
yeah.
right, why don't
We can
set
do,
up the second?
and this room is actually available for June 2nd if everyone wants to do that.
All right,
yeah.
June 2nd for research.
So stats on the 2nd.
And that is, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes.
Where will that be, Peter?
Here.
It'll be here, yeah.
Be here, White Plains, okay.
that's here.
Okay, I suggest then the first hearing, how about the 9th? And the 2 hearings, the 9th and 10th, are people that good with people?
Well, so the 9th, that would only be available in Mount Vernon, which I think this board usually does a hearing in Mount Vernon. And the 10th,
For a later hearing, it's not right.
Is
If you
what?
wanna have, one of the early hearings, in Yonkers or New Rochelle, that's fine.
Oh, I didn't hear what, is there an objection to the ninth?
Yes, for Mount Vernon there is, and
Okay, how about the tenth of Mount Vernon?
The tenth is not available at any of the locations I've heard from.
All right. How about the ninth in Yonkers?
Ninth is only available in Alberta, you said?
Yes,
Ninth is only available in Alberta.
Is there another date in Mount Vernon?
yeah,
All right, how about the tenth in Yonkers?
the tenth is not available in Yonkers.
let's
Yeah.
get Mount Vernon locked in. If you-
Okay, yeah.
if you know what that is, so we can put that out of the way.
Right.
What is,
How
what's
about the
available?
fourth? The fourth for Mount Vernon?
Ken, with all due respect, my request was to do Mount Vernon later,
You wanna do that?
not at the
That's
beginning of
okay.
the
You
month.
wanna do it
And
last?
that's what I just
I'm
suggested.
sorry, my hearing aid isn't working very well.
Okay,
I'm-
So,
I'm
I would
saying-
prefer if we had it later, if it was the second
All
or
right,
the
that's-
third.
You want it to be the last one?
That's fine.
That's okay.
The last one would be fine, depending on what Peter says the availability is.
All right, so
Because
how
that has a
about-
lot to do with things.
We have three places.
Right.
Mount Vernon, Yonkers, New Rochelle, and White Plains, four. So how about Yonkers on the fourth?
Yonkers is available on the fourth. That's gonna be the Will Library,
Is that okay, the fourth Yonkers?
which I think is better for,
That's
parking.
the Little Library of Central Avenue.
yeah,
Right,
Yeah, okay,
yeah, the Yonkers Will Library,
More than word last.
right, not the Riverfront Library.
right.
no, Central Avenue, right?
So one
Right.
thing,
We had to start early because
right, so,
we had the time constraint there.
so that would be starting at 5 o'clock at the Will Library.
All right, good.
That might be a problem for people who are working.
Yeah,
I'm
we
good
would
with
have
that.
We would have the room through 8 o'clock, just, you know,
So 3 hours, you have a 3 hour clock.
Once you start it at six, once you start it at six,
She just said that was fine, where she. Oh, well.
That's not Sylvia.
That's not Sylvia.
Sylvia's not here.
How about 6 to 8,
Well, I'm just saying,
that's 2 hours, that's what we usually do.
I'm just suggesting that, you know, if there's just acknowledging that there was a time constraint where we had a hard stop time. Usually in the early ones, it's usually actually the owner's reps that come, and that takes some time, so out of respect all the way around, but
I'm sorry, do we still have that time constraint?
yes.
What is the time constraint?
Well, the time constraint is that we have to be out of the room by 8 o'clock. So that's why last time we started it at 5 to provide ample time. I have not heard from the Riverfront Library about availability, so that's a possibility if this board wanted to set like, you know, we're gonna say we'll do the fourth at the Riverfront. Otherwise, we'll do it at the Will Library.
to your point in regards to the fact that the early meetings are more for the owners. Or
Well,
you said that
I'm
they're
just
more
saying-
focused on it.
I'm just saying, usually more owner reps come.
So I think the fact
Earlier
that we
meetings.
started earlier, they count, I mean, if it's more the owners, they commit the time to be there earlier rather than somebody who may
Well-
be working for somebody else and they're not.
But what I'm saying is, we have 2 members who are absent and who work. I don't know if 5 o'clock is okay, you know, with
Well, it should be
Mr.
good.
Robertson or.
Then to be honest with you, Karen, this meeting is useless because the
I'm
fact
not-
is.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
I'm
not-
just saying that we can't schedule around other people's projected availability or not, we just gotta schedule.
I'm just acknowledging that we usually start later, but
Got it, and you know what, I think what's a good, we'll start at 6.
I think it's also worth noting that the game has changed a little bit. All of these meetings are streamed, they're available immediately on YouTube. So if somebody's not able to make an hour, you know, they can make it up by pulling up the YouTube and watching the video. So it's not like we're waiting for transcripts like we were a few years ago.
At the Wills,
Oh, like it was.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Thursday, the 4th for the first one. How about Tuesday, the 9th, the second meeting somewhere.
So is that a 6 p.m.?
Mount Vernon, New Rochelle,
Mount Vernon's gonna go like later.
Later?
Later, it's gonna be much later in the.
how about New Rochelle then?
Can we just, I'm with Natalie, can we be clear, are we saying, given what your input is, that we're saying 5 or 6 o'clock for Yonkers
I
Well?
don't care
on Thursday
whether
the
5, 6, 7, or 8.
I-
Hopefully I
Well, it
won't
can't
be
be
here.
eight because it closes at 8.
What time is it?
True.
5 or 6 is fine, so whatever's good for you guys. I'm
Then,
available either.
all right, then,
Why don't we make it at 6 to accommodate people who are coming from work? And what we're just gonna say is that it's a 2-hour meeting this evening. We have to move through it. And we'll put time constraints on what can be said and what can't be said, right?
okay,
All right,
That's
so
what we-
that's the ninth.
that's the
That was.
4th.
That's the
That was
fourth.
still Yonkers.
That's the fourth.
Yonkers Well on the 4th, 6 P M.
Oh, 6, okay.
Okay, now we're talking about the 9th.
That was the ninth,
New Rochelle.
The night,
New Rochelle,
New Rochelle is not available on the
Okay.
9th. They are available,
on.
How about-
sorry, they are available on the 8th, the 11th, and the 12th of that week.
all right, the 11th's okay with me.
Is that okay with you guys?
11 is fine with me.
11th, okay?
All right, so New Rochelle on the 11th.
so that's hearing number 2.
That one will
I'm
start.
good with that day as well.
Very good, thank you.
That's okay, Evelyn?
Yes,
Okay, just checking.
All right, then the last one,
I appreciate you. Thank you.
That one, I think, they usually start at 7 unless we have a constraint,
yeah.
so,
What's the address for New Rochelle,
the
Peter?
city,
City Hall?
yeah, City Hall, sorry.
then, okay, so now you want Mount Vernon to be last, so how about the 15th for Mount Vernon? The Monday.
We also didn't schedule White Plains.
We gotta get White Plains, so.
White Plains, we also didn't schedule, so we have White Plains. and Mount Vernon.
We
Well,
usually
we'll
do
play.
White Plains or
Yes,
White Plains will be the presentation,
yes,
we
So we
can
do
do
that
that
for
for
the
the,
last time?
leave that for last.
Okay,
yes.
so that'll be after Mount Vernon.
So you wanted Mount Vernon as the third
for the
hearing,
3rd hearing.
so how about the 13th?
I think you said,
June 13th
No,
is
it's not
Saturday.
13th, the 15th.
That's
15th for Mount Vernon. Monday night,
Is Mount Vernon available?
Is that available?
Mount Vernon is available on the 15th, yeah.
okay, good.
What about the 18th?
They are available,
We can't make it the 18th.
they are available on the 17th.
No, the rest of that week we're both, I have annual meetings all week,
So Monday, the 15th?
15th. 7 P.M., all right, then we got the presentation. How about the 22nd for the presentation,
Sure.
White Plains?
White Plains is available on the 22nd, yeah.
Also 7 p.m.
What is the address for the Mount Vernon? Anybody know?
It's, City
Street
Hall.
address.
Again, City Hall?
Yeah.
City Hall.
They're all at City Hall except for when we go to Yonkers, we use the public
All
library.
right, so presentation is 22nd. Then,
Presentation, I'm sorry, White Plains, right?
Yes.
Now, the tricky part is the rebuttal and the vote. Since Mr. Withers is not available on the 25th or the 26th.
no, you,
And then Evelyn's not available on the 29th.
no, we can't make the 30th. We could make the 23rd, the next night, but that's just the next night,
Mm-mm.
and possibly,
And I'm not available on the 24th.
How about the 25th?
all right, how about 25th? Then I
But you
don't
said you did the 25th because you're going on your trip.
No, actually, I'm sorry, you're right, that's Thursday, I'm sorry.
You could, White Plains is also available on the 17th. If you want to do the presentation then, and then,
No, we can't make,
all right, the 17th.
the rest of the week, we're not down. How
Did we
about
say the 17th is not available?
That's right, yep.
No,
Okay,
how about the 29th?
Evelyn said she couldn't
yeah,
make
the
it
first
on.
Monday, I can't, it's a work session.
Last Monday.
That's the last Monday.
Last Monday.
Yeah,
She said the first Monday and the last Monday, she couldn't make it.
I don't wanna.
what about the 30th?
I don't think they can make the 30th,
They
right?
can.
You can't make the 30th?
Well, how about July 1st?
You can?
I'm gonna be back no later than Monday the 29th, but I
What
can.
about you, Ken? Can you make the 30th?
I can't make the 30th, I can make the 1st of July.
No, the findings have to be to DHCR by the 1st of July.
Yeah, we've never gone into July before.
Well, I got about 4 or 5 dates open, and unfortunately, the week of the 15th, I only have the 15th. I can do the 23rd,
It's too soon, Ken.
but yeah, I know, I'm willing to do that, but you can't do it.
You could,
The presentations are one day, and then
How
you're
about-
gonna have time to take
All right.
in what people have
Yeah,
said
yeah.
in order to do a rebuttal. There's time.
if I could, you could do the Mount Vernon hearing on
How about on the 9th or 10th, for Mount Vernon?
Mount Vernon is on the 12th.
If you try to squeeze everything into the beginning of the month, doesn't work well. Some of us actually need time in between.
I'm not trying to do anything. I have the 29th, I got the 23rd, I got the 25th.
The Mount Vernon, in between the 11th and the 15th, the one day they have is the 12th.
That's a Friday.
Mm-hmm,
So the problem we have right now is the
I can't.
right, because folks are not available at the end of the month. I'm not available on the 24th, but the other dates are good. Evelyn said she couldn't do the 29th. Mr. Withers said he couldn't do the 25th or the 26th.
Right, but he's back in the 20.
We can't do the first. of
He's
July.
back on the 29th, but then
Right.
Finger says he can't do the 30th.
No, I can't do the 30th.
And why can't we
We
do it?
can't- we can't do it first.
It's gotta be in by.
The findings are required under the ETPA to be to DHCR by July 1st, by the end of June, actually. So,
But they're not gonna.
Why not?
Like it, well, because of our last meetings. Oh, you're talking about just our decision.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, the
So
decision.
there's no paperwork that's involved in it.
well, there is paperwork that, if you recall from last year, there was that explanatory statement that this board finalized, and then you authorized DHCR to make the changes based on the vote meeting.
Mhm.
And then we sent that to DHCR by July 1st. So that's the document that has to be in by July 1st, so you really don't have an option to overrun into July 1st.
We can make an exception? We can request an
I
exception?
can't counsel you to make an exception, no, that would not be a good thing.
We've gone into July in the past, years ago.
It would be very unorthodox to schedule that, to build that into the schedule. Usually when the boards go into July, that means something's gone wrong. I think it would be much more prudent for this board to simply work with the dates that are available for the board to make sure that everyone's able to make it. As I mentioned at the top, there is no set number of meetings that this board has to hold. There's no requirement for some of the meetings that this board holds. But I know that there's practice that this board's done for many years with the presentations, the rebuttals. There was a time in, I believe, 2018 when this board did the third public hearing, followed immediately by the presentations, which is something that's an option where you double up the agenda.
Do it by Zoom on the Friday?
Excuse me?
It's not even this bedroom on the help. Since I know the schedule.
So we have to. There's an impact.
25th is no good? Oh, it's over for you,
It's
I'm traveling.
traveling.
you travel.
The 24th?
How about
I can't
24th?
make it on the
Or you
24th.
can make it?
That's the one day in the last couple of weeks that I cannot make is the 24th.
So we have a decision to make in regards to whether or not people are available, or we unfortunately have to smush some stuff together and be a little bit more, I guess, use our time a little bit more efficiently. Meaning like we'll get the information, we'll digest it, and then we'll move on it, because if people aren't available, we can't make more days in the month. But what we can do is not put such a lapse in between the time that we're scheduling these meetings. And I get your point, Mara, that it doesn't work well, and the past it hasn't, I wasn't there to say it, so I don't wanna comment on it. We're at like an impasse because the fact that if the time's not available, the time's not available.
You know what you could do, instead of building in, finishing later, is starting earlier. You could, it's not unprecedented to have a public hearing prior to the research meeting.
I mean,
You know, I think that I could call the municipalities and see what their late May availability is, and then you just pull all these dates out by a week.
if we're having the first hearing on the 4th, at the beginning of the month, and if we're doing stats on the 2nd. We're getting a good jump on things. I don't think that, you know, that we're not getting a good jump on things.
It's the availability of the.
I'm okay with starting, with, like, having the stats after the first public hearing. It's not like it's going to change our.
Is there something?
That you're still gonna listen to everyone.
Well, remember that the first public hearing is, scheduled in Yonkers at the library where we have a.
Right, but he's saying we could start before that.
And
Is there something we can do on the 9th or 10th of June?
What's available here,
None of the rooms are available on the 9th or 10th.
and this.
Partly to contend with June, and partly why it might be a good idea to schedule a public hearing for late May is there's early voting, and so some of the days are just not available. And then some of the board members are not available. I think it makes all the sense in the world to have a public hearing at the end of May. And then you can just make sure that you have the public hearing, yeah, you have the stats, and then the 2 other public hearings.
Which one can we fit into the end of May and then switch out that date with the review? Or the 2 meetings at the end that we do, which is the,
Well, so we
Presentation.
have a guess on June 22nd, that would be our last.
all right, so
We have June 3rd, which is open.
hold on, just 1 second. So, Peter, would you be good enough to say what the dates are that are available for Mount Vernon?
Sure. So, I mean, the entire month, or are you looking for a given?
Well, if we were,
Late in
if
the
we were
week.
looking for the later part.
Yeah,
you're
for the
talking
later
about, right now, it's scheduled for the 15th, which is mid-month, that's not really late. But if we're looking at moving things up, then
Is,
If we kept Mount Vernon of 15th, we did the last one on the 22nd, would that be enough time for you?
Well, but-
How about
But-
If we
9th,
kept it as one second,
Nine.
that's one.
9th, 10th, or 11th?
so, one option, just looking at the dates, is that,
For Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon's available on the 11th. I think the 12th is a Friday, right?
All right,
right, so you're saying to have. Hearing 1 in May,
Right. Public hearing, we're May. the end
I
of-
think if it's between, a choice between bleeding into July or starting at the end of May, the May option is really the only option you have.
all right, so.
I'm okay as long as we keep away from Memorial Day weekend.
Well, the Memorial Day is on the
That's the 25th,
25th, so if
yeah.
you were looking at maybe like the 28th, something like that.
the week after Memorial.
Yeah, so.
I'm okay
you
with
wanna-
that.
28 would work,
27th.
Well,
no,
I think for, I know how this is gonna go, I'm gonna call the municipalities tomorrow about that week. I didn't ask about it.
then you'd be looking for,
So is everyone available the 26th through the 28th?
No, we don't.
Oh, May
26th, I'm not,
26th,
27th I could do, or 28th I could do.
26th, 27th, 28th, and not good, and we won't be there, that's all.
So that you just write like that,
The first year, without.
It's a Friday,
we can't be right?
usually this board doesn't like to do Fridays, because if you're having a public hearing, most people aren't gonna go for a public hearing on a Friday.
Peter, excuse me,
Why, I'm running for the weekend.
sorry,
I mean, you
They have
can,
more time on a Friday to come to a meeting.
you can talk about it, but it's not usual that there's a lot of these public hearings anyway on Fridays.
Okay.
I mean, look at the schedules for any city,
I
there's
know.
not a lot of public hearings happening on a Friday.
So it looks like that last week in May isn't good for you, even though you were suggesting that we start early, Mr. Finger.
what about the molding?
No,
Oh, we can't, I can't.
no,
I mean, another thing is, you know,
We'll miss the public hearing. I mean,
Is that a problem? Unless we don't,
we don't do that.
you don't really even need to have a quorum to have a public hearing, because you're not taking any action. It will be recorded, the board can view the meeting at leisure.
So I won't be there.
So if, you know,
I'm good any of those days.
I'm just trying to problem solve, but if the board wants me to call tomorrow and see which of those dates, that last week of May, I
I can do
can-
26 or 28, not 27.
Natalie, and,
I can't do the 26th, I can do 28th.
all right, so, and Chair Rubin?
yeah, I think,
And how about you?
Evelyn,
well,
Evelyn?
remember,
I think she said May 28th was good for her, is that correct, Evelyn?
Either, I'm sorry, it's so noisy here. Either of those dates work for me. As long as we keep away from Memorial Day weekend, I'm good.
Either the 20th.
Okay,
Yeah,
Evelyn,
Alright.
the 26th, the 25th is a Monday, it's the last Monday in May. I thought you said that you
She
came.
just said keep away from Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, you are correct. If it's the first Monday, I mean, or the last Monday, I can't do it.
Yeah.
We take that,
well, look, the 28th,
That's the last.
everybody's agreed on the 20th.
yeah, the 28th, and, you know, even if it's not one of the big four municipalities in Westchester, you know, maybe we can go somewhere different and,
A steakhouse.
Portchester.
Oh,
For
there you go.
students.
Okay, so May 28th, we don't have a place yet, but we have.
but we're gonna
Correct.
try to do,
Yeah,
we're gonna try to do hearing number 1 on May 28th,
yeah,
and then
Yonkers on the 4th still, Mount Vernon on the 11th.
No, Rochelle.
No, New Rochelle,
No,
like
11th.
15th is
Rochelle on
not,
the 11th, Mount Vernon on the 15th.
and then we have a presentation June 22nd.
Yeah, but
Presentation on-
if you
we
keep
ended
the
up running
presentation,
into the
it,
same
We
problem.
are the same situation.
I think you're shooting for moving Mount
Everything
Vernon to the 11th, and then, you know, making Mount Vernon the last public hearing on the 11th, and then doing the presentation maybe on the 15th, and maybe the vote on the 22nd.
So, okay, so Mount Vernon is the 11th.
Hold on. All right,
And
so
the
hearing,
presentation is the 15th, and the rebuttal is the 22nd.
so wait, we're trying to do, are we still trying to do Yonkers on the 4th, and we're trying to move New Rochelle to May?
Correct. And you know, there is some play here, because I haven't heard from Riverfront, so, you know,
Right,
When are we doing New Rochelle?
I'm.
June 11th,
Can
yeah,
you-
right now.
Can we recap because?
we will certainly do that.
Yes.
all right, so, I think tentatively, May 28th, a public hearing at a location to be determined. June 2nd, research and analysis in this room. June 4th, the Yonkers public hearing at the Will Library. At 6 o'clock. June 11th, Mount Vernon public hearing number 3 at 7 p.m. June 15th, and then June 22nd are the two dates that everyone so far said they're available.
I'm sorry, the after Mount Vernon was June 15th
June 15th, the presentation, right?
presentation.
Yes.
Right,
That's,
and then June 22nd will be.
We can get White Plains in here.
Oh, White
Yeah,
Plains,
we do the rebuttal and the vote in White.
In White Plains, yeah,
Presentation.
and so we have,
So we're talking about the
So-
presentations on the
so the
15th.
May 28th would be in New Rochelle, correct?
that ideally, yeah, I haven't spoken to them, so,
And then we're doing the rebuttal and the vote on the 22nd.
Correct,
And
we're
the
doing
last day, the vote is on the 22nd.
yes.
And then the presentation, well, there were a couple of location choices for that, right?
Right, New Rochelle is the 15th. Which may actually not be a bad idea.
Which shows when?
New,
We were just looking at what was
Yeah.
available.
so Mount Vernon, New Rochelle are both available for the 15th. And if you do New Rochelle on the 15th, for whatever reason, if you're not able to get the 28th in New Rochelle, you could always, and you feel compelled to, you could always open up for public comments on that day.
We could have the hearing and then go into the presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's pushback on combining the two, but what I'm saying is if the 28th doesn't work in New Rochelle and it has to be somewhere else and you feel
All right,
compelled to.
so, just so I understand it,
Who pushes back?
Hmm?
Who pushes back?
There's been pushback on the board, I mean, I
so the
think,
28th,
But I wasn't alone. There are other people who actually go through all the material and recognize that you need time to review it before you just.
Yeah, I totally understand, I get it.
so the 28th is New Rochelle,
Hopefully.
May. June 2nd is HCR, June 4th is Yonkers, June 11th is Mount Vernon, June 15th is the presentation in White Plains, and June 22nd is the rebuttal and the vote in White Plains.
yeah,
Is that right?
all except for on June 2nd, that would be in this room, because we don't have the DHCR office available for meeting.
Can we do the presentations in Mount Vernon so we don't end up with 3 meetings here? Since you said that there were a couple of locations available for the presentations on the 15th.
Well, we're having a hearing in Mount Vernon, I think.
I understand that.
The June 11th is in Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm
She's
just
asking
saying.
for another-
we have-
That's not your-
I think we should have White Plains.
I'm just saying, if
Well,
you do
June-
the presentations, the rebuttal, and the stats meeting all in White Plains, it's like, we could actually spread it around a little bit more.
Is New Rochelle available?
New Rochelle's available on the 15th, New Rochelle is available,
For
yeah.
the presentations, that's fine,
Yeah,
sure, why not? Just saying, balance it out a little bit more.
So we're now at the 15th,
Is in New Rochelle for the presentation.
there'll be presentation in New Rochelle.
Mhm.
yes.
And the vote in White Plains.
Correct.
All right,
And that's on the 22nd. The only thing that you want to find out,
Hold on, what'd you say, Evelyn?
No, I thought somebody called me, sorry.
No, we were recapping the dates. Are they okay with you? Did you hear them all right?
I did, they're all good for me.
Great.
Good.
the only thing that you need to find out is whether or not the meeting in late May is available, correct?
Right,
May 28th.
Okay.
The location,
the location, yeah.
All right. May 28th, June 2, June 4, June 11, 15, and 22.
And I guess if New Rochelle is not available on the 28th.
Was Yonkers available or not? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, New Rochelle is also available on the 4th, so if I can see which one is available on the 28th and just schedule it.
yeah, Yonkers or New Rochelle should be fine.
how about the third?
The 3rd is not available at any of them.
All right.
And the second is the stats meeting, right? I just want to make sure I get that.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So we all happy with the dates?
I think we're set, I don't know about the exact, but
I think we worked it out as best we could, given everybody's schedule.
Are you gonna send us an email?
Oh, yeah, PO.
Yes.
Peter's great about that.
Thank you.
So we have other business. We want to discuss the request that the others had
you had made a suggestion
Of a separate.
in relation to the letter that, Robin and I said, that we have a separate meeting to discuss it. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So people have a chance to digest it, maybe research it, talk to their constituencies. And we can then give the appropriate amount of time for that consideration.
I would like to ask, our council his opinion on this.
The board has done that before. 2023, a separate meeting was scheduled. I think we should take a vote to see if that's how you want to proceed. But, I think we'd be, whether it's something that can be put into the research that comes out this year, I'm not sure. If this board wants to discuss it at another meeting, you certainly can. And then, I can try to discuss with research in the interim between now and whenever that meeting is gonna be. And try to give you a sense of whether it's even feasible when you guys meet again.
Can someone from research attend? So we can have a discussion as to the viability of the suggestion with the members of HCR.
I can certainly ask them. Due to the late timing of the submission of this letter so close to the meeting. I didn't have any time to have that discussion today, but depending on when you set the date, I can certainly try to figure that out.
May I suggest that we wait to set the date to see when it would be convenient for the appropriate members of the division to attend?
Well, first I would like to hear the opinions of the other members, if we should have a meeting.
This suggestion has come up before.
Twice.
I was not in favor of it before, and my opinion has not changed.
Can I ask a question regarding this? Because I did review the letter. And to me, it sounded like it was research for more information on the landlord side. Is that correct? That we're just trying to reanalyze like the expenses and stuff on landlord side, we're not taking them into account? Is that correct? I just want to make sure that I am digesting this letter correctly that was submitted.
I'm sorry, I had difficulty hearing you.
Okay, the letter that was submitted by you guys,
Yeah,
it's to research more information on the landlord side, that expense.
we were looking for more information.
Right. Can you please tell me why you're against? For more information? Cause I wanna just discuss it deeply.
One of the issues that I have as a whole is that there is a real asymmetry between the information that gets provided about landlords
Okay.
and the fact that there is none that's provided for tenants. We have to dig, scrounge and everything else just to try to get information about what's happening with tenants. It would be different if maybe HCR was gonna do something that actually provided a little bit more objective insight into what was happening with tenants, but it seems to me that it's always more something on the landlord side, something else to argue, something else to, so.
May I ask a question again? I'm new to this. This is my second
Yeah,
year.
that's fine.
What information would be needed from the tenant side? Would you like to hear?
What would be useful
Yeah,
on
what
the
would be
tenant
useful?
side?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of information that would actually, if we had specific stats on how many rent stabilized tenants are rent burdened, how many of them are severely rent burdened. More about, when we can get people to come in and actually speak on their own behalf, people have their anecdotal evidence. But you've got all kinds of things about what's happening with the landlords, with their expenses. We don't have anything about the sacrifices that tenants are making, the number of jobs, the extra jobs they have to take on, or anything that helps balance out the picture in terms of, if you raise this over here, what happens on the other side?
But isn't a major component of what you're asking income? How can you determine whether or not somebody's rent burden not knowing their income?
I understand that.
I've always, I'm a newbie to this, but I have to tell you something, I've always thought that unless we know what the tenants are earning, we are trying to come up with a number that quite frankly doesn't satisfy anybody. I need to know whether or not the person in that one bedroom apartment in Yonkers, okay, is making $40,000 a year or making $95,000 a year. Because if they're making $95,000 a year, they can afford a $1,250 a month payment. If they're making $40,000 a year, especially right now, they can't. And I get it. I believe me, I get it. Those people who have those buildings are my clients. Okay, so my point is, without that information, and I would love to see more information on the tenant side, Tamara. I would love an income and expense on every tenant. The landlords have to provide them. So why wouldn't a tenant have to provide an income statement? Why are you justified in having this rent stabilized apartment? Now, again, we're not gonna be able to settle this today in
I don't
regards to
think
it.
so.
No.
The
well,
fact
I
that you
don't-
believe that people have to actually justify staying in the apartment that they have.
If they're making $150,000
Yes.
a year,
Listen,
Yes.
to driving a Mercedes.
it's,
Let's say that those are the very, very few. But let's say they are the very, very few of people, but let's be honest. Okay, if they are making sufficient amount of money to be able to afford that apartment times 3, then I have a problem. And you know what, I think it should be flushed out. And I know that that's not gonna be settled here now, but I think more information from the tenants are needed. But to say that the landlords are the only ones who we're only providing or asking information from the landlords, our hands are handcuffed. We can't ask the income information from the tenants. And by the way, being burdened with rent is only gonna be calculated by knowing what their income is. So that's my.
well, there are some people that HCR does collect that information for, but that's not even available. Cause when I ask a question about people with screen and Dree, they don't keep records about that. So at least we would know a little bit more, and even though people don't, those programs are underutilized, we still can't get that information. But the bottom line is HCR, I think they do a tremendous job in providing the statistics that they already provide. And burdening them with additional demand as far as statistics, when I don't see a particularly good purpose for it, I'm just not in favor of it.
See, I actually see more point with having more information on the landlord side and on the tenant side. And the fact that we're not being provided those, that really does count into whether we should raise it or not raise it. There was a woman last year that testified that 70% of her income is going towards rent. I would like to know that. That this woman is being that overburdened.
That's overburdened.
Yes.
But what is her income? That's my point, and who proves it? And again, I know these are big questions and not one that we're gonna be able to figure out right now in this room, but sooner or later, we're gonna have to address these, and I'm talking about the whole industry. They have to figure out how to, in a meaningful, respectful way, get the information out of the tenant on what their real income is. Listen, they pay taxes. And somebody who deserves that apartment, Tamara, because they're income burdened, they should have it. And they should have it at the reduced amount. But somebody who's making more money and can afford to pay more, I got a problem. So I don't know how we figure that, how we fix that, but I think getting more information is the key. So to your point, if we're gonna ask for more information from the landlords, we also ask for more information on the tenants. And you're right, it's not gonna get fit into this meeting or this year, but I think it's a topic for discussion. Because I wanna work together with the tenant side. I want the people who actually need this rent break to get it. But people who don't, I don't want them to have. And again, I'm only one vote, and I'm just a kid from the Bronx who came into this and sort of, I know what it's like to struggle. All right, my parents struggled, when they were trying to pay their rent, so I get it, but you know what? Trying to figure this out without that information is just, it's always bothered. And I had a vent, so.
And to your point also, to HCR also already segments the calculations in Rockland County. And all they have to do is prepare, well, we'll have to find out what they would have to do. They said that they could do the 90% allocation. They told us that the last time. I don't see the deficit or the negatives in just getting more information. As long
But
as
I
they
want
can
the
do-
tenant side also, I want the tenant side also, I wanna know
Well, yeah.
where they fall.
You have to change the statute for that. That's the problem.
Let's get changing on it. Let's get working on the change.
The landlords are required to file the income and expense statements. The tenants are not required to do anything.
So a tenant who's applying for this apartment does not have to state their income? I don't know, I've never applied for one.
What I can tell you based on having spoken to a realtor who was showing apartments in my building the other day. Is that. In order for a tenant to get an apartment. Their income has to be 40 times the rent. For the apartment, whatever that rent is,
40 times the rent.
40 times. At least 40 times.
So if it's $1,000 a month,
They have to make 40,000.
Yep,
who has to make 40,000?
the tenant. Or if it's a couple, then, however many people are in that unit,
Okay,
They
but
have-
who's verifying that? No one.
listen, these people, they check your credit, they demand that you provide all that information.
So who, so that information is then,
And is that done annually, or is that?
I guess the
just
answer-
once a
It's
month?
when people go to apply to get in. Now, once you're already in,
there's the problem.
when you go to get your lease renewed, the landlord asks for that information.
So that information is available.
Well, but you're talking about two different things. This request to prove the income is something on the landlord side that they're doing to secure themselves if they're bringing a tenant who's making enough money to pay
For the
the
apartment,
rent.
despite the fact that the majority of tenants are rent burdened. And it's like, but they're still expecting for you to have enough income to make sure that you're not in that category. So you have to be doing fairly well, even if you would be willing to spend 30% of your income for rent. They won't allow you to move in if that's the case.
But, just to finish that thought, the state of New York is not doing that,
Correct.
that investigation because it's not part of the system.
But the landlords get provided with that income information. Can we request from the landlords?
We can't,
No,
we can't do that.
And that, it's
You can't,
privacy, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, and as you've seen already with the research from last year, I mean, they ask all sorts of questions to the landlords every year in these surveys. And there's many landlords that just don't provide.
Some of the information that they
the
already get
information,
asked,
So,
let alone anything in addition.
all right, in any case, I think more information is something that is a positive. And that's what we're asking for.
So are we setting another date to discuss this, or is this
the problem is
discussion?
with the staff. Do they have enough staff to provide that information?
Are these the
Are they
people
good?
we're meeting with for the stats meeting?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be asking what at the stats meeting, whether or not they have enough staff.
I mean, that's one option is this would be.
On June 2nd,
Yeah, but we're not getting this issue. We wanna get a conversation going.
We've had the conversation, all right, I'm
on
okay
June
with that.
2nd, we can approach them and ask them the question and see how feasible it is for them to provide.
So next year kind of thing.
My impression from when we asked them about it the last time was. Doing what you wanted, Mr. Finger, which was to look at buildings and the percentages of stabilized versus non-stabilized tenants and to shift where what they actually include and exclude would actually have a negative impact in terms of the survey results, and it would make the sample even smaller than what it is currently.
Right?
And that was not perceived to have to be a good thing
No,
by
I
the
didn't,
stats guys.
I didn't think we were looking to make the sample smaller, I think we were looking to see what the actual economic effect is of the fact that the non-stabilized or free market units in a building actually subsidize the ETPA apartments. And it's good, it would be nice to know, whether or not it has any impact on our deliberations. That's ultimately for the board. But if you have a building that has 50% market rent and 50% rent stabilized, you know that that's a building that's probably doing moderately well. You have a building that's 100% stabilized, you may have a building that may be underwater.
And I can tell you that I have 5 clients who just got rid of their fully stabilized buildings, all of which were under 30 units that sold them for less than they bought them for. Because the fact is that there's no market for them. And the smaller landlord, like Mr. Fingers was saying, the landlord where the, not the larger landlord, but the smaller landlord who usually has a fully stabilized building, okay, they're inordinately impacted by, because of the fact that there's no market rent apartments to be able to pick up the slack.
Ultimately, we just want more information, that's all.
Okay, can we agree on approaching the staff on Tuesday, June 2nd, when we had the research meeting? And
We can't do it.
and maybe, Peter, maybe you can forward the letter that they sent to them so that they have an answer for our, or bring up the discussion when we bring up the discussion.
Yeah, I can certainly, if you want to, I can put it on the agenda for that night. I mean, it is, as we mentioned, staffing issues, this research team is not just dealing with Westchester, they're also dealing with 3 other boards at the same time, so. It is gonna be a lot for that meeting between the presentation and the letter, but,
Was there a
3
reason
other
why?
boards?
Hmm?
3 other boards?
yeah, Rockland, Nassau and Kingston.
Oh, I forgot about Kingston.
Peter,
Shocking.
Peter, was there a reason why we couldn't meet with the research people prior to the 28th meeting, the 28th of May meeting?
No, I mean, there's really not
So
much,
anybody
I, other than that, I haven't had a chance to discuss it with them, so I don't know what their availability is.
Well, you may just wanna just float the idea of maybe a late prior to Memorial Day meeting with them, only for the fact that then we can have this discussion sooner.
I mean, if the board wants me to ask the research unit if they're available.
I
for
think
me.
they need to be there for this discussion. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so if we could do it in like last week in May prior to Memorial Day, and if everybody has no problem with that, that loosens up another day in June.
I think if you wanna do the meeting, trying to do it in May is not gonna work, just because that's usually when they're preparing all the reports that they present to the board.
Very busy.
If you wanna do it over the next, few weeks, I can certainly see if they're available.
I would be open to that.
I'm open to that.
My suggestion again is that we, when we meet with them on June 2nd, we approach the meeting. Does anybody else agree with me? Evelyn? You there?
So we're not trying to put it.
I'm gonna vote sooner than later.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Hello?
Yes, yes. Can you recap? Peter?
Yes.
Yes, Evelyn, I don't know if you were following along with our discussion, but the chair just
Regarding the
asked-
letter that was sent out.
Yeah, the letter and when to meet on it, if at all, I guess. And there's 2 schools of thought. One is to meet in the next few weeks, which time I'll try to get someone from research here, but I'm not sure that that's gonna happen. The other is to bring it up at the June 2nd meeting when you already have a captive audience and they have nowhere to run and they.
I'm for bringing it up at the June 2nd meeting. I don't know how other people feel. Do we want to necessarily have a separate meeting dedicated to this topic?
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's what I was
But I wanted to do it earlier.
Evelyn,
I did.
to bring it up on
Not
the
working.
June 2nd, because they're busy accumulating all the information that they're gonna give us to begin with.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right. I didn't hear that part.
Maybe
All right.
the June second meeting earlier.
I can,
Earlier
Let's
as
see.
in the calendar or earlier as in time?
As in time.
In
Okay,
order to have extra time for the discussion.
well, I mean, that might work because to your point, Tamara, you know, we don't need the public there necessarily, right? That this is not gonna be a discussion for the public.
No, just for us.
So then
No.
therefore, you know, we don't have to consider, you know, that they're working and so on. Of course, our colleagues would have to be considered, but if we can do it earlier on June second,
Wanna have it start maybe like at 6 o'clock,
Yes,
I
then
can-
start the meeting at 6 so that we allow extra time for the discussion about this issue in addition to them providing us with the stats.
I'm
Gentlemen?
okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's fine.
yeah,
That's all right, Elsa?
yes.
So the June second meeting will be six.
Or it'll be at 6 o'clock. Here, then obviously.
And Peter is gonna send the letter and all
Confirm
the
that they need it,
documentation.
but
All right, you'll give him a copy of our letter, Peter?
I will.
All right, move to adjourn.
So. Anybody else has any other?
Second,
I'll second that motion right quick. We understand, we understand.
Yeah.
and again,
so-
apologies, you know, I had to be at two places at once and I didn't want to miss out on this meeting, so, once
Thank
again.
you for.
We
thank you for being
appreciate
here.
you going above and beyond.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
So do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I did, she just seconded it.
Ken first, Evelyn second. All in favor?
I.
Anyone opposed? Thanks very much.
We always get unanimity on that motion.
Yes, that's the only thing that.
Never a